So my intention in creating Conscious Lapdance is healing. People can laugh at it and they don't understand it. But then when we're talking, it's like so clear. If you have a huge trauma around sexuality, it's very hard to practice these things in the bedroom. But what about having someone sit on a chair, they don't move, and you get to express your own sensuality?
My name is Rani Christiane. I work with music and body awareness, and I'm on the journey of exploring more my sexual and sensual erotic self. I felt like very light and playful and not pornographic or anything forced. So that was a really nice surprise.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring up not pornographic, because I noticed there are a lot of taboos and judgments around lap dance. How would you say that this is different?
To bring in the sensuality and the playfulness in a safe environment, it just brings me so much alive, and it felt super authentic. Also, I felt I'm in connection with my heart and with my soul. So I felt like fully embodied. So to actually practice that, okay, I can be present with my full self, with my inner child, with my insecurity, and I can take my time to ground and actually take time to connect with the person, and then feel, okay, how do I want to approach and connect? Before, I had more this assumption of, okay, it's like playing a role, playing a sex role or playing a sexiness role, which can also maybe be fun. But for me, it was really like, no, I don't jump out of myself and jump into something else. No, I stay and connect from within.
So what would you say to women who think, I'm not confident enough, I could never do something like that?
I have a really long stories of being really insecure about myself, about my body, about how I look. But to me, it's really just try it out and give yourself the honor to try and give it a go. It feels so healing. We can be there and explore together with our insecurities, because everybody has their insecurities. It's a beautiful container to explore and also to feel those. The workshop with you helped me so much as a base to know, okay, where am I at? What do I feel comfortable with? Where are my boundaries? And what can I then practice in context with the actual people who came in? I just love it. It's of course super confrontational, but it gives so much potential to experience and to heal and to grow.
Those moments, that confrontation,
to explore the innocence and the playfulness, to me, that basically heal that insecurity on, oh, it has to be a certain way, to, oh, I'm just gonna try and do what feels good, and maybe I look silly, but to just be there and explore. I felt seen with all my parts, and I also felt I could see other people.
The number one question that women ask me, or what they bring up, is like, I'm afraid, like, what if men want to touch me? And there's like a lot of these ideas.
I experienced it myself. What gave me safety was I'm always free to set my boundaries, and also beforehand there are exercises of consent. So there can be things like, okay, no touching. So I can still engage within that boundary and feel safe. The way also you set it up with the consent and the clarity and the boundaries. Yeah, I just build trust within the exercise. Super important to acknowledge the fear, because it's important that it's there, and to communicate it and not to override it. And then go with the fear and say, okay, this is what I feel uncomfortable with, or hey, there was a bad experience or whatever, and set boundaries. I didn't learn that. I had a lot of boundary crossing in my past, and actually have this container to practice that is gold.
There's so much happening where there is miscommunication or boundary crossing, and women feeling unsafe in their body. When women ask these things, it's a mirror of what we're collectively going through. There's a lot of unsafety, or a sense of unsafety. And then to create this container is the opportunity to bring healing to this. If we're always avoiding any kind of connection to not feel unsafe, A, it doesn't prepare us for like the real world, what happens out there, what happens when someone does touch you and you don't want it. And then B, it's like you would be really miserable also. It's like you're denying yourself connection and authenticity by just not being in a situation where you would ever have to set a boundary.
And I would rather practice in a workshop container where, no, okay, I can go there, the space is properly held, I can consciously connect with people, talk about it, integrate it, than attracting subconsciously relationships or connections that teach me those lessons. It's just amazing that we have these containers anyway, where you can actually reflect on it and integrate it and then apply them in life. And it's exposing. Like, to me, it was like, oh my God, I feel I'm exposing myself But this is actually what brought some energy out that I had suppressed because of the experiences. I'd suppressed my radiant because I didn't want to attract men who would then cross my boundaries. It's so nice to have that awaken again. And also I practiced this one lap dance with a woman and I loved it. And it reminded me of girls' play. It had nothing pornographic. It was just nice, joyful. It was sensual. It was playful. And I felt like, whew, this feels really alive, really gives me so much joy and totally safe and not weird. Like, yeah, exactly. Not having to be sexy, but be weird and ugly and wild and cringy. Also include these. And it's so liberating to override also patterns of, okay, I have to be a certain feminine being to be sexual so I can get love and I'm being seen.
Instead of thinking about how should it look or how should it be or how should it present from the outside, you're like, oh, what do I enjoy? You're totally shifting your awareness to, oh, I like this. Yeah. And I see this also reflected in what women bring in. Like they'll ask questions of like, am I not too fat to do a lap dance? Am I not too old? And that's a lot about this programming. And men never ask these questions. They never say, am I too old? Am I too fat? If it's a women's only event, then they're just like, why can't I join? And I think in that sense, like I would like to see women show up more in this entitled way of, I have the right to be here because I'm paying to be here, because I want, because I choose.
It's so beautiful. Also to get in touch with men who are there to join this conscious strip club, to feel safe with my sexiness, and also being aware, okay, people come to receive that and enjoy that and also have that experience. I choose how much I give, and also even I can choose the partner that I want to give it to, and I can choose how much I want to share. And maybe that one person doesn't feel good, and then I just, I don't know, do nothing or do what I like, be a little bit silly instead of being super erotic. Or the other one, I feel like, oh yeah, I want to play with this seductive sensuality. And this is so nourishing and liberating to allow these different facets, these different archetypes to show up.
And that's really something for women to reclaim. I decide it's my body. If it's an all gender event, men or other genders are showing up also with their vulnerable, fragile parts. And even that same thing, I held space for a man who needed to release tears around having this abandonment wound, and to have that also be a nourishing environment for him to have a new imprint of not being rejected when he shows his emotions.
Indeed, that is also beautiful. I know where you share that. I remember these different exercises we did, having vulnerable sharings, and just have men opening up and sharing about their fears or their desires openly is so healing. Healing to have this very authentic, direct flow of vibration in terms of words, instead of having some kind of subconscious, sneaky way. No, it's like open, and that allows me also to see the person, whether it's a man or woman or, whoever identifies as what. It's so beautiful to receive also these vulnerable sharings in an event where we're here to be sexy as well, bringing so many aspects of self together. And I really believe that this is one of the most healing environments that we can have if we bring this sensual, sexual inner layer to the surface and be vulnerable with that, with the desires, but also with the wounds, and not feel lonely with that. I just love the aliveness that came through, and I carried along from that event. I can just recommend, if you feel like a pull or even a trigger, go try it.